guitar players, today we're going to talk a little bit about mixing between major and minor pentatonic scales and how much fun that can be, how musical it can sound, and all that type of thing. So when we first start learning about improvisation and soloing, you know, over a bluesy context or something, we learn the minor pentatonic scale, maybe day 1 or 2, something like that, you know. We learn that and we have a lot of fun with that, and then we also learn that we can go down 3 frets and we can play the major pentatonic scale, and that also works really well over that bluesy context. And what you get as a result is you get like darkness from this, and you get brightness from this. And that shifting colour of those two things is always really nice to listen to and play, you know. So the problem is, or at least the problem I had when I first started doing this, was I would play a bit here, then I'd play a bit here, and then I'd go back here again, back here. You know what I mean? And it was all very kind of blocky in my approach, and not necessarily the most musical way of blending those two things together. So that's what we're going to look at today, how we can smooth between these things a little bit easier. As always, I've got some written resources for all of this stuff on my Patreon page. There's a ton of lesson material up over there now, so go check it out if you want to. That'd be much appreciated. Thanks. Things changed quite a bit for me when I started listening to people like Albert Lee and a lot of country guitar players, and the way that they would just fly around all over the fretboard and seamlessly transition between these things. I found it quite fascinating and interesting, and I wanted to understand how to do it. So what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to take A minor pentatonic and we're going to create one rule. We're going to say whenever we hit the minor third, this one, it's a C in this case, and there's one on the 8th fret on both E strings, and there's one on the 5th fret on the G, and we're going to say whenever we hit that minor third, we're going to follow it with the major third, so just move up a semitone. Okay, so we do something like this. Okay, and then if I do that on each one of those as I travel down the scale, already it starts to sound a little bit more interesting because the melody is going in different directions. This is going up, and then we're travelling down the scale. So there's kind of a little bit of a roller coaster going on, which is quite fun. You can do that in all of your pentatonic positions as well if you know them. You know, try it in all of those 5 positions and improvise with that. Have lots of fun. Then the second thing you can do here as well, quite often when we're playing in this minor pentatonic land, we do this. We add in the flat 5th and get this what's often referred to as the blues scale, like that. And so if we do that as well, but we apply that same rule of the minor thirds thing, get this, right? How cool is that? Okay, the reason this sounds really cool is there's a lot of chromatic information going on here, particularly here, right? So you got the 5th, flat 5th, 4, minor third, major third, and then maybe the root note. That's bebop, right? That's Charlie Parker stuff. Okay, so there's really interesting chromaticism being built into this scale pattern. Okay, and then imagine, you know, being able to do that all over the place as well. It could be quite fun. So that's something we can do with the minor pentatonic scale, but there's also something really cool we can do with the major pentatonic scale. I really like this diagonal shape. This. That's You don't have to necessarily do the whole lot, but I find that quite useful for like flying around the fretboard in a kind of interesting musical way. You know you've got it right, by the way, when it gives you the riff from My Girl. Like that. Okay, so that's quite helpful. And like before, we took the minor pentatonic scale and we added in the major third. We're going to do the opposite this time. We're going to take the major pentatonic scale and add in the minor third in between these two. So we end up with that. Again, chromatic stuff happening. So you get things like this. You know, kind of country-ish sounding lines. Okay, so play around with that as well. You could also substitute that second note there for that minor third and go like that, which is quite fun as well. You know, be creative, do whatever you like the sound of, you know. And then when you're confident with both of these things, you can start kind of linking them together. So if I just play a little bit, I'll start major, minor, major, minor, major, minor. You see what I mean? Yes, I'm kind of switching between major and minor, but there's this kind of blending going on where there's a bit of major in the minor and a bit of minor in the major, if that makes sense. You know, so that's quite fun. So let me know how you get on with this stuff. I find all of this really, really useful in lots of different situations. So keep me posted, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.